If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media. Public opinion.
Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a GLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour.
Tropical storm Melissa keeps Jamaicans on edge as it continues to crawl towards the southern coast. Holness administration taking steps to prevent price gouging during the storm.
People are taking precautions, stocking up on food. As these products become scarce, there may be persons tempted to raise their prices, and we will not have that.
Police and Army activated to protect key infrastructure.
Government increases allocation to constituencies for disaster response.
Recognizing the evolution of the movement of the storm, the Prime Minister was instructed that an additional $200 million be allocated for disaster preparedness.
Pregnant women warned to take precautions as Melissa nears.
In news from the rest of the world, U.S. deploys world's largest warship in escalation of drug trafficking campaign.
Ontario Premier says he will pause anti-tariff ad that angered Donald Trump.
In headline sports, Jamaica to open regional Super 50 campaign against Guyana Harpy Eagles in mid-November.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, we'll bring you the latest from the Prime Minister's media briefing on Tropical Storm Melissa. We'll also hear from the Principal Director at the Met Service, Evan Thompson, and Acting Director General at ODPEM, Richard Thompson.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask how much bread you buy. Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio. You can message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693.
In the nation's business at 6:40, Tropical Storm Melissa appears to be taking the same path as Hurricane Beryl. What does that mean for Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, Manchester and Westmoreland? The Member of Parliament for South West St. Elizabeth, Floyd Green, and Maypen's Mayor Joel Williams will join us.
At 7, Director of Corporate Communications at the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, Winsome Callum, will tell us the plans the JPS has for the storm.
All these and more as we take you home on air, on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, RevaNews.ai, and on the Reva News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Friday afternoon, it's a wet one, Friday, October 24, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Tropical storm Melissa continues to crawl across the central Caribbean Sea, moving at 2 miles per hour towards the southern coast of Jamaica. The country remains under tropical storm warning and a hurricane watch. That's according to the latest update from the Meteorological Service of Jamaica. Robin Williams has more in this weather update.
Forecasters are warning that the storm could rapidly intensify in the coming days. At 1 p.m. on Friday, the center of Melissa was located near latitude 15.6 degrees north and longitude 74.4 degrees west. That's about 230 miles southeast of Kingston and 199 miles southeast of Morant Point. The storm is currently drifting toward the east-southeast at 2 miles per hour, but is expected to gradually turn northward tonight, then westward by Saturday through Monday. On its current track, the center of Melissa is forecast to move near or just south of Jamaica early next week. Maximum sustained winds are near 60 miles per hour with higher gusts, but meteorologists warn that the system could strengthen significantly. Melissa is expected to reach hurricane status by Saturday and could become a major hurricane, Category 3 or higher, by Sunday. Tropical storm force winds currently extend up to 140 miles from the center. The Met Service says Melissa is expected to be a major rainfall producer, with projections of 12 to 16 inches of rain across the island over the weekend. The heaviest rains are forecast to begin in eastern parishes before spreading westward through next week. Localized flooding and landslides are possible. Residents are being urged to take the necessary precautions. Strong gusty winds reaching tropical storm strength are expected to affect eastern parishes later this afternoon and persist across the island into the weekend. Hurricane-force winds could impact some areas as early as Saturday. The Met Service is also warning that marine conditions will continue to deteriorate. Small craft operators and fishers are advised to remain in safe harbor until all warning messages are lifted and conditions return to normal. Authorities continue to monitor the system closely, and Jamaicans are urged to stay alert and follow official updates. Robianne Williams for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, head of the Met Service, Evan Thompson, says the storm will affect Jamaica for at least a week.
Because it is on Saturday that we expect it to become a hurricane moving west. It is on Sunday that we had expected for it to become a major hurricane and then continuing around us. And you can see that this goes all the way to Wednesday. So this is a slow-moving system that is expected to remain in our territorial waters for a long time. It has already been here for almost a week. And this is likely to continue for almost another week. We are continuing to watch the movement.
Evan Thompson, he was speaking at a media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister today.
The Holness administration will sign an executive order in an effort to prevent price gouging as Jamaicans prepare for Tropical Storm Melissa. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness made the announcement on Friday. He's also urging Jamaicans not to relax their preparations amid the slow movement of the storm. Shalois Michael reports.
Price gouging is the practice of sharply increasing the price of goods or services in order to take advantage of a sudden high demand. As the Jamaicans prepare for Tropical Storm Melissa, Dr. Holness says his government will seek to prevent the practice.
We will take one other measure, which is under the Trade Act, to prevent any price gouging that might take place. I saw a picture recently of shelves in our supermarket and all the bread is gone. So people are taking precautions, stocking up on food. But it leads to a very important point that as these products become scarce, there may be persons tempted to raise their prices. And we will not have that during a disaster. And therefore, the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce will shortly sign an order to this effect.
The tropical storm is moving slowly across the central Caribbean Sea. The Prime Minister says the slow movement has made it difficult for the government to take effective preventative measures without compromising the country's commercial sector. But he's urging citizens not to relax their preparations.
It is still moving very slowly, and that has posed a difficulty for us in planning because You don't want to put your preemptive measures too early. People get frustrated and say it's not going to come, and then they go back to normal activity, and then it comes. So we've been trying to calculate when to put in the preemptive measures. We don't want to exacerbate the impact by taking actions that will reduce commerce, reduce business too early. So I know that there might be some frustration in the public, but bear with us. Households should take precautions in ensuring that whatever work they can do to their roofing to prevent leaks, they should do so.
An evacuation order will also be in effect for low-lying and flood-prone areas if the country is declared a disaster area. Dr. Holness says the transportation will be available for emergency evacuations.
In terms of transportation for evacuation, the Ministry of Transport is already prepared. The JUTC buses are already alerted to the need for evacuation, so we will provide some amount of public transportation if it becomes necessary. The toll roads will be open to allow persons to move more quickly and safely, so we are prepared in that regard as well. And we encourage persons, if you're called upon to be evacuated, take the opportunity and leave the area.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the government will be launching a program to assist vulnerable groups following the passage of Tropical Storm Melissa.
The government will launch a very comprehensive humanitarian and recovery strategy after the event. But for that to work effectively, the beneficiaries, the people who would require support and assistance, must have identification.
Dr. Holness stressed the need for accountability in the allocations of funds during the disaster.
There is a view that because it is a disaster, all the rules are suspended. I hasten to advise everyone, in particular the permanent secretaries, the heads of departments and the accounting officers and the ministers, there is no suspension of accountability rules, even in a disaster. And every dollar that is spent has to be accounted for. The same people who are screaming that we need it now, are the same people who will turn around and say, where did you spend that money? So there is no break in accountability. It is highly likely that we will get international donor funding and philanthropic support. And they too require that the resources that are given philanthropically is accounted for.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF has activated its hurricane preparedness plan as Tropical Storm Melissa approaches the island. That's according to Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake. The police chief says his divisional commanders have already been placed on alert.
We have convened our meeting with all area and divisional commanders to review our readiness protocols. Our incident command centers have been stood up for activation at the divisional level. Liaison officers have been assigned to coordinate with parish disaster committees and the ODPEM. Our operational response, which includes our quick response, our highway patrol, and mobile units, are briefed and ready for deployment. We have reviewed and updated our shelter security plans.
Dr. Blake says in an effort to ensure safety, patrols will be conducted along critical corridors.
In terms of our management structure for the hurricane operation, our headquarters management team that has responsibility for operations across the island has been stood up. In addition to that, we also have an operation management team specifically looking at the corporate area, given the number of vital infrastructure that exists there. Our area and geographic divisional management teams have already been stood up as well. Our highway patrols will be deployed to monitor key arterial routes and flood-prone corridors. Our mobile patrols will maintain security in our business and residential districts.
Dr. Kevin Blake, Commissioner of Police.
Meanwhile, Dr. Blake has said, or rather he says, sufficient stock is available to the police to respond to any emergencies during the passage of the storm.
We have conducted a check on our inventory of emergency supplies and protective gears, and we are satisfied that we have adequate numbers to carry us through. We have checked and fueled our generators. Our communication assets, including our Police Emergency Command Center, that has always withstood these challenges, is in a very good state, and we expect it to be up and running and carry us through.
Dr. Blake says the police will also be coordinating with the Army to protect critical infrastructure.
Coordination with the JDF for joint monitoring of critical infrastructure is underway, and some of these critical infrastructures that have been identified that we are paying key attention to are Petrojam and the fuel depot, airports and seaports, our hospitals and major medical facilities, our business district and financial hubs, our courts, correctional facilities, and all government offices, and our major road networks and bridges.
Dr. Kevin Blake, the Commissioner of Police. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
See twice the style for less at IQ Optical. Buy one pair of glasses and get your second and third pair half price. Don't miss out. Call 876-929-7732 or visit IQ Optical today, where clarity never looked sharper.
The time by IQ Optical is
14 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay. Continuing the news, the Holness administration has doubled its allocation for constituency disaster preparedness in response to the growing threat from Tropical Storm Melissa. The funds have been doubled from 200 million to 400 million to boost national readiness and flood mitigation efforts. Works Minister Robert Morgan made the announcement at a special media briefing on Friday.
Initially, the National Works Agency, at the instructions of the Prime Minister, would have allocated $200 million that would have gone to mitigation efforts, primarily from the eastern side of the island to the southern side of the island, which focused on parishes that have been deemed most vulnerable. Recognizing the evolution of the movement of the storm, the Prime Minister was also instructed that an additional $200 million be allocated for disaster preparedness. At this point, we can confirm that every constituency across the island has been allocated at least $3 million to aid in their disaster mitigation efforts.
The funds are to be used to facilitate immediate execution of critical pre-impact works, including drain cleaning, debushing, and the clearing of blocked roadways in vulnerable communities. Minister Morgan says low-lying and flood-prone areas remain priority.
We're focused on several areas that are low-lying and flood-prone, as well as several national assets such as the Sandy Gully. We're also focused on Portland Cottage, sections of Portland, St. Mary, St. Thomas, and other low-lying and flood-prone areas, particularly in St. Elizabeth and Manchester. Our position now from the National Works Agency and the Works portfolio is to strategically place equipment across the island and engage our local contractors in preparation if there is need for the removal of debris and the clearing of roads.
Robert Morgan, Works Minister.
Meanwhile, Minister Morgan says plans are also in place to carry out emergency activities during and after the storm, should it become necessary.
During the storm, if it does come, we will maintain a posture of observation as well as collaborating with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management in case there is need for emergency activity to provide access to vulnerable persons who may have challenges. Post the disaster, if it does occur, the National Works Agency will lead in creating single-lane access to whatever roads and thoroughfares may be closed to see whether there is damage, and where necessary, will provide temporary remedial efforts to roads which may be damaged.
Robert Morgan, the Works Minister.
Chief Executive Officer of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, Laurette Adams Thomas, says both government and private residential child care facilities have been secured in anticipation for Tropical Storm Melissa.
The CPFSA's Disaster Committee has been meeting regularly, which started prior to the beginning of the hurricane season in June. And as at today, the most recent reports that we have received from our regions are that all 50 of our residential childcare facilities have been properly secured in anticipation of this upcoming weather system. We also stand ready to provide support to any child or children who might be displaced as a result of the impending storm.
The CPFSA is urging parents and guardians to monitor their children as hurricane and other storms can be particularly frightening or traumatic. Mrs. Adams Thomas, says the CPFSA can be reached via WhatsApp during the storm's passage.
We can never let our guard down when it comes to protecting our children. And so while persons can continue to call our 24 child abuse reporting hotline number 211 to make a report, if by chance they do experience difficulty reaching us during the storm, they may also contact us via WhatsApp or by calling 876-878-2882 or 822-7031.
Lauret Adams Thomas, she's the CEO of the CPFSA.
The Health Ministry is urging all expectant mothers to take extra precautions as the island braces for the impact from Tropical Storm Melissa. The warning is being issued especially to women in their final weeks of pregnancy or those who have high-risk conditions. In a release today, the ministry says if the women are unsure, they should seek advice from their hospital, health center, or midwife about their situation. Expectant mothers should also keep essentials ready to include maternal records and identification. The mothers should also ensure that hospital bags are packed and accessible. Additionally, expectant mothers should ensure that phones are charged and emergency contacts are handy.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The BBC is reporting that the U.S. is deploying the world's largest warship in the Caribbean, marking a major escalation in its campaign to target drug traffickers in the region. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier to move from the Mediterranean to the waters of Latin America. The warship can carry up to 90 aircraft. The U.S. has been increasing its military presence in the Caribbean in recent weeks, which now includes 8 other warships, a nuclear submarine, and F-35 aircraft. It has carried out airstrikes on boats it says belong to drug traffickers. The latest strike occurred today. Hegseth says the operation took place against a ship belonging to the Tren de Aragua gang. He says 6 male terrorists had been killed.
In Canada, Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he will pause his province's anti-tariff advertisement campaign in the United States after it prompted President Donald Trump to terminate trade talks with the country. Ford says he made the decision after speaking with the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. He says the TV spot will be paused on Monday so that the trade talks could resume. But it will still run over the weekend on U.S. networks, including during the Major League Baseball World Series games. The advert, which was sponsored by the Ontario government, quotes former U.S. President Ronald Reagan, who is a Republican and icon of U.S. conservatism, saying tariffs hurt every American. Carney told reporters earlier on Friday that Canada is prepared to resume trade talks with the U.S. when the Americans are ready. Trump criticized the advert late on Thursday night in a Truth Social post, calling it fake and egregious. He then terminated the trade talks.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. Tropical storm Melissa keeps Jamaicans on edge as it continues to crawl towards the southern coast.
Holness administration taking steps to prevent price gouging during the storm.
People are taking precautions, stocking up on food. As these products become scarce, there may be persons tempted to raise their prices, and we will not have that.
Police and army activated to protect key infrastructure.
Government increases allocation to constituencies for disaster response.
Recognizing the evolution of the movement of the storm, the Prime Minister was instructed that an additional $200 million be allocated for disaster preparedness.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
You can find the news on our website at rivernews.ai and on the River News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are Jamaican. Different people.
It's not a matter of a GLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica will open its campaign in the CG United Super 50 Regional Cricket Tournament against the Guyana Harpy Eagles on Wednesday, November 19 at the Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad. Cricket West Indies released the official fixture for the 6-team tournament on Friday, with all games to be played in Trinidad across 3 venues: the Brian Lara Cricket Stadium, the Queen's Park Oval, and the Sir Frank Worrell Ground. The teams involved this year are the Barbados Pride, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, the Windward Islands Volcanoes, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, the Guyana Harpy Eagles, and of course the Jamaica Scorpions. The teams will play each other once, with the top 2 advancing to the final set for Saturday, November 29. The champions will walk away with US $100,000. The runners-up will take home US $50,000, and the 3rd and 4th place teams will take home $25,000 each. Pakistan signed off on their campaign at ICC Women's World Cup in India on Friday without a victory after torrential rain forced their game against Sri Lanka to be abandoned as a no result in Colombo because, as I mentioned, of rain.
The last match here at Colombo in the ICC Women's World Cup for 2025. The handshakes between the 2 captains and the umpires. Some smiles as well, which are really good to see.
Only 26 balls were possible in the day's play, so each team took home a point apiece. Pakistan had a tough campaign because 3 of their 7 games were washed out. The other 4, they suffered defeat. Sri Lanka had 2 of their games washed out as well. And the tournament will continue tomorrow, and it will be Australia against South Africa, a titanic clash. And both teams have already secured their spots in the semi-finals of the World Cup. Jamaica Olympic Association boss Chris Samuda is calling for the General Assembly of the International Paralympic Committee to arrange for a meeting of the minds among its membership to deal with the matter of isolating athletes from countries who are at conflict. Samuda was responding to Thursday's revelation that no Russian or Belarusian athletes, that's para-athletes, will participate at the 2026 Winter Olympics despite the International Paralympic Committee lifting the ban on both countries. Although the IPC oversee the games, there are 4 separate governing bodies in charge of the 6th sport taking place in Milan. 3 of those bodies have decided to keep their bans on athletes from the 2 countries, and although Russia and Belarus are now allowed to compete in ice hockey, the decision came too late for them to take part in the qualifying. Both countries were suspended from Paralympic competition after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, and Belarus, a close ally of Russia. Samuda says athletes should not be made to pay for the decisions of those leading their countries.
Whereas I respect the decision of international federations in exercising their right in a democratic construct, I will always maintain that athletes are not architects of war and should not therefore be casualties. Athletes are not actors and actresses in the political theater of egos, and therefore they should not be sacrificial lambs.
And Samuda, therefore, is calling on the international body to get its members to the table and try as best as possible to hammer out a deal that will not isolate the athletes.
The international federations control the reins of their respective sports. And so the International Paralympic Committee will have to strategically, will have to diplomatically bring opposing parties to the table and negotiate consensus in the interest of the athletes.
That's President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Christopher Samuda. Some news on football. Promoted Leeds United, they're up to 13th in the English Premier League after easily brushing aside West Ham United by 2-1 on Friday afternoon at Elland Road. Brendan Arson shot Leeds ahead after just 3 minutes, and 12 minutes later, Joe Arnson added a second. Substitute Matthias Fernandes scored for West Ham United on the stroke of full time, but clearly it was too late. And 4 more games are scheduled for Saturday, including the champions, Liverpool. They'll be in the capital in London to take on Brentford. Manchester United are at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. Newcastle United will be hosting Fulham at St James's Park. And Sunderland will play away to Chelsea, also in the capital, the game to be played at Stamford Bridge. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade. From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocho Rios to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is...
It's 27 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston, 28 in the western city, Montego Bay.
On your mark, get set. Go for the winnings, BK, 5K and relay day. We're in it. Burger King 5K and relay is back. Sunday, November 9 at Emancipation Park at 6:30 a.m. Register under your community, club or company to help them win any one of the Burger King Crown Challenge with over $2 million in cash and prizes. Enough people are going. Plus t-shirt, free. Medal, free. BK sandwiches, free. While stocks last. Go to www.runningeventsja.com to register by November 1. Sponsored by Rain.
Everybody needs a helping hand, somebody to understand. In the end, we're all human. For people living with HIV, no discrimination. Here to support them through. Respect you as usual. Got to protect them too. One of your friend or your family, somebody in your community. People living with HIV. Protect, accept, and respect people living with HIV. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Merry Money Mania loan promotion. This Christmas, borrow big and win bigger. Get loans of $1.5 million or $2 million at specially reduced rates, plus a chance to win your share of $1 million. New customers get double entries. Hurry! The promotion runs October 15 to December 19, 2025. Visit any branch or chrisandcharles.com for details. Chris and Charles, making Christmas merry. Conditions apply.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking it.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Loan vibes, loan laughs, and loan entertainment. Come on the road with we. Because when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, you check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. We forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome, the Shell Boss, I'm gonna make your bust to pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tune. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and don't miss a thing.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come unwind with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat.
Life skills.
Global Connect.
And Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show. Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Professor Donna Hope.
How are you, Prof?
I am lovely. We're preparing for Melissa's arrival, not imminent, but sometime in the near future.
That's a good way of putting it. Yes. And we are focused on Tropical Storm Melissa, which continues to very slowly move across the Central Caribbean Sea. But let me start with a release from the Office of the Prime Minister. The government of Jamaica, it says, is advising that acting on the advice of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, and the Minister of Local Government, the Prime Minister today issued an order pursuant to the Disaster Risk Management Act. Here is the order. Under the order, the whole of Jamaica is now declared to be a threatened area due to the potential impact of Tropical Storm Melissa. It says the tropical storm poses a significant threat to the island, and the declaration empowers the government to implement precautionary and protective measures to safeguard lives, property, and critical infrastructure. Now, listeners, in conjunction with this declaration and in accordance with the Act, rather the Trade Act, the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce has also issued a declaration to try to prevent price gouging. And of course, you'd have heard that in our 5 o'clock bulletin. The Prime Minister says by declaring Jamaica a threatened area, we're activating the legal tools to move resources quickly, safeguard critical services, and protect the most vulnerable. He says this declaration enables the government to act swiftly and decisively, and he has directed all agencies to execute their preparedness plans, including shelter readiness and the pre-positioning of supplies and equipment. Yeah? And he's also urging us, Prof,
yes,
you have it there, not to relax. Or
not to relax, yes, indeed. And the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, is urging Jamaicans not to relax their disaster preparations amid the slow movement of Tropical Storm Melissa. The storm continues to crawl across the Central Caribbean Sea, moving at 2 miles per hour toward the southern coast of Jamaica. The country remains under a tropical storm warning and hurricane watch. Dr. Holness and a number of officials from several state agencies held a special media briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister earlier today to update the country on the mitigation measures in place for the passage of Melissa. The Prime Minister says the government will continue to assess the situation before imposing several measures under the Disaster Risk Management Act, the DRMA, to help save lives and properties.
It is still moving very slowly, and that has posed a difficulty for us in planning because you don't want to put your preemptive measures too early. People get frustrated and say it's not going to come, and then they go back to normal activity, and then it comes. So we have been trying to calculate when to put in the preemptive measures. You would have seen that we gave an early preemptive measure yesterday by suspending schools, and today, I believe it is at 2 p.m. that the public sector will be asked to go home. I suspect the private sector will follow suit. So we're really trying to gauge, and there is a reason why we have to be very careful in engaging. Beryl, when it hit Jamaica, cost us about $57 billion of our 2023 GDP. And it probably cost us about 0.5% in terms of a reduction in our GDP growth. So it will have an impact. We don't want to exacerbate the impact by taking actions that will reduce commerce, reduce business too early. So it's a real guessing game, and it requires us meeting, analyzing, getting all the data so that we make the right decisions. So I know that there might be some frustration in the public, but bear with us because we can't make any mistakes with the measures that we put in place. Under the Disaster Risk Management Act, when the orders are proclaimed, which we expect that we will do a declaration possibly the end of today or sometime early tomorrow, the Act will give certain powers that the administration and the various entities that are vested with these powers will use for the protection of life and property. And we ask the public to cooperate. And you can be assured that before any of these measures are taken, there will be consultation with the stakeholders, and there will be adequate public notice so that everyone will know. we do ask for your cooperation. Whatever happens, the projection is that it will come closer to Jamaica, and we would be affected one way or the other by either rain and wind, or just rain. So whatever happens, we can safely say there will be an impact. Something will happen. The likely impact would be the rain event. And that would mean flooding, landslides. It would also mean that there could be some marooning of communities. Some communities could be cut off. And it would definitely mean a scoring of our already aged and struggling road infrastructure and possibly some impact on our bridges. It means, therefore, that households should take precautions in ensuring that whatever work they can do to their roofing to prevent leaks, they should do so. Every citizen has a duty to protect your life, obviously, but your property. You can't just wait on the government to come and do it. Every citizen has that duty. So as far as you can, you should protect your property.
Hearing there, of course, from the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Michael Holness, and of course, subsequent to that speech, we have now heard that the Prime Minister has declared Jamaica a threatened area under the Disaster Risk Management Act, the DRMA. Dr. Holness says a post-Melissa recovery program will also be implemented. However, he says this initiative has to be properly managed to ensure fiscal accountability. Important to those efforts is the need for the state to properly identify beneficiaries.
The government will launch a very comprehensive humanitarian and recovery strategy after the event. But for that to work effectively, the beneficiaries, the people who would require support and assistance, must have identification. There is a view that because it is a disaster, all the rules are suspended. I hasten to advise everyone, in particular the permanent secretaries, the heads of departments and the accounting officers and the ministers, there is no suspension of accountability rules, even in a disaster. And every dollar that is spent has to be accounted for. The same people who are screaming that we need it now, are the same people who will turn around and say, where did you spend that money? So there is no break in accountability. And we ask the cooperation of our citizens in providing proper identification so we can track where the benefits go, who received the benefits, and for what reason. This is also important when it comes to not just accounting to ourselves, which we must, but it is highly likely that we will get international donor funding and philanthropic support. And they too require that the resources that are given philanthropically is accounted for. So there would be an accounting process. So in practical terms, because this is going to be a weather event that is likely to be a heavy rain event, you should protect your important documents. Put them in a Ziploc bag, tie them up in a plastic bag, keep them somewhere safe, because we're going to need to be able to identify you in order to facilitate a very quick recovery process.
And you heard there from the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Michael Holness, at that press conference today. We're going to take the break, and when we come back, you'll hear more on the preparation for Tropical Storm / Hurricane Melissa when we come back.
Protecting your personal data is a priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. We urge you to use the agency's official platforms to conduct your business. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:47.
One box, full belly. The Bird Shack Fried Chicken Flex Box has it all. Sandwich, wings, or chicken, wedges or fries, coleslaw plus a drink. Only $1,800. Best value in the streets. Flex Smart.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
That could be your brand new 2026 Beijing X55 SUV for just $2,500. It's the JSSE's first ever car raffle. Grab your tickets at Fontana, York Pharmacy, Fesco, Mothers, Phosphate, Supreme Ventures, or online at jsseja.com or caribtix.com. Entry ends November 29, grand draw December 11, 2025. Proceeds support JSSE projects. Learn more at jsse.damstockex.com. Approved by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Rev up your Christmas for just $2,500.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio. My team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're now being joined by Principal Director at the Met Service, Evan Thompson, and the Acting Director General of ODPEM, Richard Thompson. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good evening. Yes.
Yes, good evening to you. Good afternoon. Evan Thompson here.
All right, Evan, let me start with you because there's a bit of confusion online because Jamaicans are looking at international forecasts, and some of them are indicating, the latest one I'm seeing is that a landfall is projected. Tropical Storm Melissa, by then I see it saying a powerful hurricane, category 4 or 5, could make landfall in Jamaica. Is that what the Met Service is predicting?
It is because we have to remember that
we're not hearing you very
can you turn him up for me? I can't hear.
We're not hearing you very clearly, Evan.
Are you hearing me?
Just go again. Let me repeat the question. Are you saying that the Met Office of Jamaica is predicting that Tropical Storm Melissa will make landfall in Jamaica as a category 4 or 5 hurricane?
I am saying that there is a prediction that
no. Sorry, Evan.
No, you're
the
breaking
line is
up.
really
We're
bad.
not hearing you.
Can we just try to sort that out, please? Because this is very important. As I said, Prof, there are
and I've been looking
online,
at them and multiple sources
right,
from different international agencies,
which are indicating that at about Tuesday, Melissa will be a hurricane, a category 4 or 5 hurricane, and will make direct landfall in Jamaica.
Yes.
So that is significant.
So
Richard Thompson?
So we have to bring Richard Thompson in because Richard Thompson, good evening. With that kind of prediction that we are seeing floating over internet, social media, can you tell us what are some of the plans that the ODPEM has in place to help Jamaicans work through this tropical storm/hurricane?
We have placed everything in full motion. We have been monitoring from last week.
Yes.
And
with our guidance from Met, who leads on meteorological activity, hydrometeorological activity. We have made certain operational decisions. We have had many meetings, many planning meetings. So those are just in terms of the operational side of things, to look at what we're doing, look at the gap for persons to know that this is a full-on activation.
What are some of the steps that you're telling us? Some of the things that you have done. What are some of the steps that citizens should take, or that you have prepared? Is there anything that citizens expect from you?
Yeah, man, I'm going through that. So in light of the slow movement of the system, because this is now reminded us of Dorian, which impacted Bahamas in 2019. One of the main concern is for our troubled communities. So we have a lot of vulnerable communities that we have concern about, and those communities span from, based on where the system will be passing us, spans from St. Mary all the way to Hanover.
Yes.
And for those communities, one of the things that we are paying critical attention to is ensuring that there's early evacuation, person going to shelters, and that we are also looking at how we lay on transportation to move those persons. So those are some of the operational planning elements, and advice to the public is to still carry through your hurricane planning processes that we teach every year, and also to ensure that you are listening to the advice and you move early, which is critical. So if you have to move to get to shelters or to shelter with family or friends, you move early.
And I think we have Evan Thompson back with us. Evan, yes?
Hope you can hear me better.
Yes,
Much better.
Thank you, Richard Thompson. But Evan, you are responding to a question
So
by
let me repeat the question, because this is important, Evan Thompson. Is the local Met Service projecting that now Tropical Storm Melissa could make landfall in Jamaica as a Category 4 or 5 hurricane early next week? Evan? All right.
You're still not hearing me?
Yeah, hearing you now. Please repeat what your response. We didn't get the response.
You're keeping me on edge, Evan Thompson.
I was trying to tell you that I heard the question,
yes,
and we are saying, I believe, the same thing. We are saying that the system is going to make landfall over Jamaica as a main hurricane. That's what we are saying at this time. I believe some persons have been referred to what I said at the press conference, which was at 1 o'clock, or even before 1, because I was the first speaker for a 12 o'clock press conference. So what I said was based on the earlier projection of the track. That changed afterwards, and we have to remember that the forecast, it's always the latest forecast that is the relevant forecast. So if there was something that was said previously, it really does not exist anymore because it has been replaced by another forecast. So the projected track has been changed. It earlier had said it would have gone around Jamaica, but the latest projection is that it would move across the island, moving from the south coast to the north coast as a major hurricane. That is the projection at this time. And this would happen sometime today.
Sometime on?
To repeat the day?
Evan?
What day will it happen?
Is it likely to happen?
Likely to happen, Evan?
It's likely to happen on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
That's correct.
Let me ask you, Evan, when was the last time Jamaica had a direct landfall hit from a hurricane or a cyclone?
The last direct landfall was in 2012 with Hurricane Sandy. And since then, we have had what we would call direct hits, but not landfalls, because the eye would have been off the coast of the island, but we would have gotten some of the most severe winds that surround the eye, which occurred during Hurricane Ivan, Hurricane Dean, as well as Hurricane Beryl. But those were not landfalls because the eye did not make contact with the coast.
And in this case, the eye is going to make contact with the land.
Based on the current track. Based
on the current forecast.
Right.
Yes, that is correct.
So okay. And for our listeners and some of our younger listeners, a major hurricane is Category 3 up, correct?
That's correct.
And just describe for us, Evan Thompson, what that would mean in terms of the impact on Jamaica?
Yes.
That's devastating impact, catastrophic really, because we are seeing there's the possibility not only of roofs being lifted, but significant structures being demolished. In this case, we haven't had a Category 5 landfall in Jamaica in the past. Hurricane Gilbert, to many of our memories, would have been a Category 3 at the time that it moved across Jamaica. Yes. And that was devastating in that it did cause a lot of destruction and a significant impact to our gross domestic product at that time in 1988. This is now moving, of course, a number of the building practices have been improved and have been acted upon. And so structures we believe are more secure and more robustly designed and constructed. So we are expecting that we would stand up better, but this is possibly a Category 4 hurricane that we're talking about, possibly a 5. Hurricane Beryl was a Category 4, but the eye remained off the coast, so the kind of impact of moving right across the island is completely different. We'll be getting really pummeled by the system, both sides of the eye moving in opposite directions right across.
So we'll be battered. Jamaicans say
we
be
would
battered.
be battered. That is correct, if that actually does take place.
Yes.
And we hope it does not. The system is moving now, based on what I saw in the last update, at about 2-3 miles an hour. Is it expected to move any faster by the time it's projected to get to us on Tuesday?
It is expected to pick up more forward speed, yes. It might not be a fast-moving system per se to get over and done with whatever it's doing, but it is expected to move faster than it is now. And that will be the trend between now and then. So as we go through tomorrow, we should see some picking up of the speed of forward motion, and then on Sunday we likely will see even more of that. That's when it is expected to become a hurricane in the first place. And then as we go through Monday and into Tuesday, we do expect that it will rapidly be intensifying, and it will be also moving a little bit faster forward.
And I know we're out of time, but I need to bring Richard Thompson back in. Richard.
I'm sorry, Prof.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson, Richard Thompson, forgive me, but I'm going to stay with the meteorologist for just a second more.
Yes.
Because Evan Thompson, Jamaica has never had a Category 4 or 5 hurricane moving this slowly over the homeland, has it?
Not as far as I'm aware.
So I'm asking Richard Thompson, with the imminent threats that we are hearing, which may or may not occur by Tuesday, what are some of the precautions you're reminding Jamaicans to take? Because I think that is where we are. We have to prepare so we can survive and come out at the end. What are some of the precautions?
One of the main precautions that we're saying to persons,
where we
evacuate for areas that are predominant.
Anything that is loose.
Sorry, Evan Thompson.
Evan, we're asking Richard Thompson.
Let's hear Pim's response, and then we'll come back.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
You have to just say Evan and Richard.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Richard.
So for because of the slow movement, the amount of rainfall that we're expressing, we are saying to persons, evacuate early. We have mapped a lot of communities that we consider to be high-risk communities. And for those communities, they are always having flooding problems. And we are saying to persons, evacuate early. Get to your shelters, get to high ground where necessary, and start putting all your hurricane preparedness plan. Supplies, because we are going to be in for the long haul. The system is moving very slowly. Reminding us of Dorian, that, as I said before, that impacted Bahamas. You're going to carry a lot of rainfall. And persons just need to apply the necessary measures. If you have to do work now to ensure that you're shoring up your homes, it's probably a little bit too late to be looking at retrofitting, but you have to ensure that if you are having leaks, you have to go source tarpaulins. You have to ensure that you're bringing in stuff, because you will have wind gusts. I'm sure everyone spoke about that in terms of the kind of wind gusts that we will have. Persons tend to have a lot of stuff outside that can be missiles. We're saying the person start dealing with that now. Bring those stuff inside, batten down where necessary. Some persons probably are not taking it so seriously because They are not feeling the effect, and they are thinking that we should have been feeling the effect, but it is moving slowly. So use this opportunity now to carry out the necessary procedures. Persons who are on medication, get your supplies if you don't have them now. You know, you could probably have to run to your doctor, ask them to call in a prescription so you get that, because we don't know how long we will have to go where there is no operation in terms of the commercial distribution network.
Mm-hmm.
The person needs to pay critical attention to that as well. Persons with babies, persons who take care of the elderly, have to start putting all these plans in place to ensure that you can operate and survive throughout the event. And don't go crossing flooded waterways. Prime Minister spoke to that. Earlier at the press briefing in terms of persons who are out there playing football, sightseeing, and all these things. We are advising against that.
Okay, and I think Evan wanted to make a point. Yes, Evan, please make the point. Evan?
No.
We're not hearing him.
All right.
Yes.
Richard, we're going to leave it there.
I'm here.
Yes,
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm here. Well, I was just saying that I was not hearing Richard a while ago, so he might have said all that I would have said at that point. But you were asking about what would be required to be done, and I was saying, well, structures would definitely need to be supported, strengthened at this time, and any last-minute action that needs to be taken to secure them, that would have to be done immediately.
Immediately. All right.
All right,
Thank you so
gentlemen,
much,
I suspect we'll have many more conversations with you in the coming hours, but thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Evan Thompson and Richard Thompson there. The news, the local Met Office is now projecting, and this is a change from what we heard earlier at the press briefing,
Yes.
is now projecting that Tropical Storm Melissa will rapidly intensify and will make landfall in Jamaica as either a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. That is, in the words of Evan Thompson, a catastrophic hurricane. And as he said, the last time Jamaica had a direct landfall was in 2012, he said.
Yes.
From Hurricane Sandy.
Yes. But we also have the logic caveat on its current track.
Yeah, oh yes, projection.
Always, it's a projection, yes.
Yeah. But it's a significant development from what we've been hearing all day.
Indeed.
The headlines are next.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
It's 5 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Tropical storm Melissa continues to crawl across the central Caribbean Sea, moving at 2 miles per hour towards the southern coast of Jamaica. The country remains under a tropical storm warning and hurricane watch. Forecasters are warning that the storm could rapidly intensify in the coming days. At 1 p.m. on Friday, the center of Melissa was located near latitude 15.6 degrees north and longitude 74.4 degrees west. That's about 230 miles southeast of Kingston and 199 miles south-southeast of Morant Point. The storm is currently drifting towards the east-southeast at 2 miles per hour, but is expected to gradually turn northward tonight, then westward by Saturday through Monday. On its current track, the center of Melissa is forecast to move near or just south of Jamaica early next week. Melissa is expected to reach hurricane status by Saturday and could become a major hurricane, Category 3 or higher, by Sunday. Tropical storm force winds are currently extending up to 140 miles from the center. The Met Service says Melissa is expected to make major rainfall, with projections of 12 to 16 inches of rain across the island over the weekend. The heaviest rains are forecast to begin in eastern parishes before spreading westward through next week. Meanwhile, Principal Director at the Met Service, Evan Thompson, says the storm could affect Jamaica for at least a week.
Because it is on Saturday that we expect it to become a hurricane moving west. It is on Sunday that we had expected for it to become a major hurricane and then continuing around us, and you can see that this goes all the way to Wednesday. So this is a slow-moving system that is expected to remain in our territorial waters for a long time. It has already been here for almost a week, and this is likely to continue for almost another week. We are continuing to watch the movement.
That's Evan Thompson, Principal Director at the Met Service. He was speaking at a media briefing at the office of the Prime Minister on Friday. The Holness Administration has signed an order declaring that the entire island of Jamaica is a threatened area due to the potential impact of Tropical Storm Melissa. The administration has also signed an executive order in an effort to prevent price gouging as Jamaicans prepare for the storm. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness made the announcement on Friday at a media briefing at his Devon Road office. Price gouging is the practice of sharply increasing the price of goods or services in order to take advantage of a sudden high demand. As Jamaicans prepare for Tropical Storm Melissa, Dr. Holness says his government will seek to prevent that practice.
We will take one other measure, which is under the Trade Act, to prevent any price gouging that might take place. I saw a picture recently of shelves in our supermarket and all the bread is gone. So people are taking precautions, stocking up on food. But it leads to a very important point that as these products become scarce, there may be persons tempted to raise their prices. And we will not have that during a disaster. And therefore, the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce will shortly sign an order to this effect.
Meanwhile, the government will be launching a program to assist vulnerable groups following the passage of Tropical Storm Melissa.
The government will launch a very comprehensive humanitarian and recovery strategy after the event. But for that to work effectively, the beneficiaries, the people who would require support and assistance, must have identification.
Dr. Holness stressed the need for accountability in the allocation of funds during a disaster.
There is a view that because it is a disaster, all the rules are suspended. I hasten to advise everyone, in particular the permanent secretaries, the heads of departments and the accounting officers and the ministers. There is no suspension of accountability rules, even in a disaster. And every dollar that is spent has to be accounted for. The same people who are screaming that we need it now, are the same people who will turn around and say, where did you spend that money? So there is no break in accountability. It is highly likely that we will get international donor funding and philanthropic support. And they too require that the resources that are given philanthropically is accounted for.
That's Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. And in news just in, the Met Service is now predicting that Tropical Storm Melissa will now hit Jamaica as a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. That's according to Principal Director at the Met Service, Evan Thompson. He was speaking just now during Nationwide at 5. We'll have more on this development. Continuing the news. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, has activated its hurricane preparedness plan as Tropical Storm Melissa approaches the island. That's according to Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake. The police chief says his divisional commanders have already been placed on alert.
We have convened our meeting with all area and divisional commanders to review our readiness protocols. Our incident command centers have been stood up for activation at the divisional level. Liaison officers have been assigned to coordinate with parish disaster committees and the ODPEM. Our operational response, which includes our quick response, our highway patrol, and mobile units, are briefed and ready for deployment. We have reviewed and updated our shelter security plans.
That's Dr. Kevin Blake, Commissioner of Police. Meanwhile, the government has doubled its allocation for constituency disaster preparedness in response to the growing threat from Tropical Storm Melissa. The funds have been increased from $200 million to $400 million to boost national readiness and flood mitigation efforts. Works Minister Robert Morgan made the announcement at a special media briefing on Friday.
Initially, the National Works Agency, at the instructions of the Prime Minister, would have allocated $200 million that would have gone to mitigation efforts primarily from the eastern side of the island to the southern side of the island, which focused on parishes that have been deemed most vulnerable. Recognizing the evolution of the movement of the storm, the Prime Minister was also instructed that an additional $200 million be allocated for disaster preparedness. At this point, we can confirm that every constituency across the island has been allocated at least $3 million to aid in their disaster mitigation efforts.
That's Robert Morgan, Minister with Responsibility for Works. And before we go, once again, in news just in, the Met Service is now predicting that Tropical Storm Melissa will now hit Jamaica as a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. That's according to Principal Director at the Met Service, Evan Thompson, who was speaking just now on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more on this development. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
Every school is free of unhealthy, ultra-processed products. You know, those high in salt, fats, and sugar. If only that weren't a dream. The reality is that many children have an unhealthy diet at school, and 23% of them are overweight or obese. This can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Let's protect our children's right to health with a policy for schools that prevents unhealthy food marketing and ensures access to nutritious foods. The time is now. Let's implement the National School Nutrition Policy. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
On your mark, get set. Go for the winnings, BK 5K and relay day. We're in it.
Burger King 5K and relay is back. Sunday, November 9 at Emancipation Park at 6:30 a.m. Register under your community, club, or company to help them win any one of the Burger King Crown Challenge with over $2 million in cash and prizes. Enough people are going. Plus T-shirt, free. Medal, free. BK sandwiches, free. While stocks last. Go to www.runningeventsja.com to register by November 1. Sponsored by Rain.
Public opinion.
Stop this foolish about this JLP and PMP business. We are Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all schoolers who are taking them.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
It's undeniable that we should be together.
The true beauty of music is that it connects people. It carries a message. It speaks to you. It changes you. And that's exactly what we do just for you every Sunday as we take you to Urban Paradise, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Urban Paradise is our weekly musical journey that will serve up 110 glorious minutes of positive storytelling through music, mixed in with inspirational features to provoke thought and to heal the soul.
Like a dream come true, just wanna be with you.
So join me, Diane Ashton Smith, this and every Sunday, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Urban Paradise, opening our hearts, connecting to others.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Loan vibes, loan laughs, and loan entertainment. Come on the road with we. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. We forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome the Shell Boss, I'm gonna make your bus too pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tunes. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and don't miss a thing.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
Public Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. Just getting a bit of news from the Met Office at this point in time concerning Tropical Storm Melissa. We're hearing just now that it may very well hit Jamaica as a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. We're awaiting more information from the Met Office in that regard. But until then, we're asking you, based on the predictions, the projections that we've been hearing, and we've been seeing pictures and videos of the supermarkets. We've also been seeing long lines at the ATM, people trying to get money before it start raining. And we've also seen the queues at the gas stations, people trying to get gas before it is too late or before they can't get any. So the question on everybody's mind, we want to know how much bread on a buy, because we've seen the bread shelves empty. There's no more bread at some places, at some supermarkets, some wholesales. We not seen a bread. We go buy bread, no bread, no dede. So we want to know how much bread you buy, how much bread in your household at this point in time. Let's get to the comments on our X platform, where Tia Davis says that she had one already, so she got just one more. She's saying she have flour to make fried dumplings in case Melissa stays longer than she's welcomed to stay. According to Delia Wilson, none never dip on his shelf. She not get none. Done. It done panar. Plot twist. Barbie says 0. Wow. Nehor J is saying 4. 4 bread. 4 bread? Him take from the supermarket. Let me see. Clifton is saying none. Eunice Anderson says, them don't leave none, not even one for me. I said, guys, I had to wait on the bread truck, you see. Alice is saying, only one. I have one bunch of green bananas and will be making fried dumplings. Yeah, you can substitute it, if you buy some, 3 bag of bread. Karen is saying, none. I don't eat bread. Okay. Rochelle's saying, none. She has flour, salt, and saltfish to make fritters. Yeah. Janet Shakespeare saying that she bought her regular one bread and regular groceries. All right. Mel Boo says 1. So 2 says Del Rose. 1 bag of bread. Arlene buy 2. Just my one regular Miss Birdie cornbread, says Shawnee Reynolds. When I went yesterday, there was no bread. The shelves were empty. I had to go back again today. Audrey says none. I'm seeing none from Fabian Smith also. Jessica says 1 because she already have a half bag leave. Michael Henry says 2 plus him did already have. Okay. And Sky says 2 mini ones, just 2 mini ones. According to Michelle Bernard, 5 bag of bread Michelle Bernard buy. Yeah, that's why none left in a Michelle take all of the bread them carry gone our yard. All right, Georgina Brideson saying that she could not get any. Bread done, man, bread done. Sandy Girl on our Instagram said, I buy 1-2 weeks. No, I still have half. You still have half? Half of it. Okay, wow. Marlene is saying 4, and that's what she always buy. 4 bag of bread one time. Shirley Augustine is saying 4. That will take me through the week. I don't want to eat so much bread. I am Scorpio says none. Just Peachy say 2 bag of bread. A shorty yesterday and another one today. Yeah? According to Masika Sina, family big and them name enough. That sound like a more than 1 bag of bread gone in the yard there. Marshall says 3 bags of bread. Yeah? All right. I was fortunate to secure 2, shortly leaving 4 loaves on the shelf, says Jimmy. D. Bardley say a tough crackers in say him no want no bread. Lily says none. Buy 1 from last week Saturday, so tomorrow Saturday will make a week since. I don't know about you, but bread not serving at my household. You buy one bread and half of it done before the day done. Like, what's happening? And I don't eat a lot of bread, and so I know me I eat it. Just as say, how much bread you buy amid tropical storm Melissa? Talk to us, tell us the truth. Because we know, say, bread buy because the shelves them empty. Let's see on our YouTube platform how this going. None, says fellow. The shelves were empty. Carlene is saying 0. Couldn't wait in that national line yesterday. Okay. Frank White says none. Me stop eat bread from last year. Straight tough crackers. That not bad at all. Barbara Ellington says none. Have half loaf. I eat 1 per month. Kept in fridge and toast 2 slices or so a week. Wow. Melissa is telling us to buy the flour and make your own bread just in case. I stay at your yard longer than I should. Okay. Happy Feet says, not one bread in my house. Not needed. It's not needed. Yeah? It's not needed. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Who am I says, I saved up all my bread back. For those of you who are not watching on YouTube, I just scratch my head because I don't understand. Who am I saying that? He saved up all my bread back, so my house full of bread back. I don't know how to interpret that one. Because why would I save up the bread back then? The bread, and I always ask this question, you know. I don't eat bread back, but I always ask this question. If the bread back is not part of the bread, and a part of the whole complete bread, you have bread back and you have bread front. So you left the bread back, how that work out? Double Lou saying 3 bread in my freezer plus 1 being used currently. Them soon, let me see, 1 large bread will do. He can make bread pudding. Yeah? MS is saying, I'm guessing you're going to make bread pudding. Yeah, who am I? A bread pudding you go get? Beck is asking, Sarobian, will you guys be at studio? During the storm, we'll be out on the road. This is the profession we chose, you know. We'll be out on the road keeping you informed. I mean, whenever it starts, whenever we start getting the heavy rain and the winds, we'll be out in the field. Some of us will be here, yeah, keeping you abreast. Let me see. 1 bread and biscuit. Ambula says Orinthia. People stop spend out on the money, according to Maxine. We will stop spend out money. Well, I always say it's best to be prepared, you know, rather than want it, can't get it, and you get it too late, you know, get it, no want it. I mean, you know, if you have, or you're able to get it, why not get it? Why not get it? Yeah. Out on the road. Thank you so much. I am winning. We will definitely try to be safe. I'm seeing Mel also saying, I save bread back to make gravy or bread pudding. Okay. Student for Life says bread back are the sweetest part of the bread. I don't know, you know, me can't manage. And you see, I normally sometimes cut off my crusts, you know. People say I'm childish, but I do sometimes cut my crusts off. I don't like it when it's, you know, yeah, okay. Let me see. Fitzroy saying, well, I bought 6 and my children mother buy 5. Can't believe it. And it's just 6 of us. 6 and 5? That's a lot of bread for one household, if you ask me. Sugar is saying, me not get none, my love. Then gone with the shelf them too. Wow. Let me see. Aishan Khan is questioning how people ball every day that nothing not go on, but them can't rush go supermarket. Hello, when trouble take your pitney short fit, you know, when something is happening, you have to just do the do and get it done. Yeah? You have to just do the do and get it done. Carlene says, only toasted bread I like, so what's the sense when I won't have electricity? That makes sense. Yeah? According to Progressive Youth, the front bread back nicer than the back. Let me read that again. Progressive Youth says the front bread back nicer than the back. Okay, I hear you on that one. 11 bread One household. Yes, Mary Jane, are 6 people in the household, and you can imagine when one person get 2 slices of bread, how that go. Add up the bread them in the bread bag and see how it share evenly amongst all of them, right? 6 people in a one household, or one and a half bread that good liquor. One person that eat 2 slices of bread. Yeah? It squits out, man. It squits out. It makes sense. Fellow is saying shelves them empty and stand up straight. Yeah? I see. That's bread expert right there. MLD, bread or crackers are needed in case there is an electric stove. There is no electricity. Oh, okay. Nicolette is saying without electricity you can use your frying pan and toast the bread and drop little butter pan it. It tastes oh so good. I've done that before. Yeah. You can make French toast as well. You know, fancy. But I pause to say that despite all the fun and jokes, it is shaping up to be a serious storm and a hurricane by what we're hearing, possibly a category 4 or 5 hurricane. So for those of you who are not taking this seriously, I implore you, members of the public, to take it seriously. It's life-threatening. We've heard and seen videos of how Tropical Storm Melissa is handling other countries, the Dom Rep, Haiti. We've seen videos, right? So please, we are begging you, just take it serious. And it doesn't hurt to prepare, right? Stay tuned to all the official channels, and we'll definitely be bringing you all the information that we possibly can throughout. Thank you guys so much for staying with us. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. VM Building Society, VMBS, says it has deepened its commitment to the diaspora with the relocation of its New York representative office to Church Avenue in the heart of Flatbush in Brooklyn. VMBS says this new larger space, which is set to officially open on November 5, offers walk-in access for the first time. VMBS says this relocation, a change from the appointment-only model at the previous Cadman Plaza office, marks a significant milestone in its diaspora growth. In the currency market, at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 23 cents to buy $1 US, 216 Jamaican dollars and 54 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 61 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
MSME operators, the NWC MSME Amnesty is a lifeline. Grab it. Apply between September 1 and November 30, 2025. Visit nwcjamaica.com. Email us at customercare@nwc.com.jm. You can also visit any commercial office or dial 888-NWC. Get a 50% debt write-off on your small commercial account if you pay all other outstanding debts or sign a payment agreement to do so in 3 months. Apply today.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit accounts puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real. Home is closer than you think when you save towards your dream home with the Home Owners Savings Plan, or HOSP, from CIBC Caribbean. With HOSP, you unlock preferential interest rates to earn more interest on your savings and pay less with a discounted mortgage rate. You can even borrow up to an additional US $5,000 or its equivalent to help you with your closing costs. Get home faster when you save the HOSP way with CIBC.
MSME operators, the NWC MSME Amnesty is a lifeline. Grab it. Apply between September 1 and November 30, 2025. Visit nwcjamaica.com. Email us at customercare@nwc.com.jm. You can also visit any commercial office or dial 888-NWC. Get a 50% debt write-off on your small commercial account if you pay all other outstanding debts or sign a payment agreement to do so in 3 months. Apply today.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come unwind with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat.
Life skills.
Global Connect.
And Bust the Youth. That's the Talk Up Youth radio show. Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
It's undeniable that we should be together.
The true beauty of music is that it connects people. It carries a message. It speaks to you. It changes you. And that's exactly what we do just for you every Sunday as we take you to Urban Paradise, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Urban Paradise is our weekly musical journey that will serve up 110 glorious minutes of positive storytelling through music, mixed in with inspirational features to provoke thought and to heal the soul.
Like a dream come true, just wanna be with you.
So join me, Diane Ashton Smith, this and every Sunday, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Urban Paradise, opening our hearts, connecting to others.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio. My team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team. Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. And if you are just joining us, the very latest on tropical storm. By the way, my name is Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Professor Donna Hope.
And the latest on tropical storm Melissa. We're hearing from the Met Service, the Principal Director, Evan Thompson, confirming that the local weather branch is now predicting that tropical storm Melissa could become a major hurricane by Tuesday, and at that time it will make, they're projecting, direct landfall in Jamaica as either a category 4 or 5 system. Evan Thompson also told us, Prof, that the last time Jamaica had a direct hit was 2012.
That was Hurricane Sandy. Yes.
And he says, to his knowledge, Jamaica has never had a category 4 or 5 system moving this slowly stall in our waters. He used the word, listeners, catastrophic. We have with us now the local government minister, Desmond McKenzie, and our own CEO here, Cliff Hughes. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to the listeners. Good evening, Minister.
Yes. Minister McKenzie, let me start with you. This cannot be good news.
Well, whether it is a category 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 is not a good news for any country. It is, we need to remind ourselves that Jamaica is in the top 5, one of the top 5 most disastrous countries in the world. You know, where we sit, you know, so we are affected deeply by earthquake, we are affected by tropical waves and storms and, you know, the threat of tsunami. So based on the fact that we know what our circumstances are, we're always improving on our efforts in terms of how we treat situations such as these. I am presently at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and we have been reviewing, looking at some of the options that we have been working on to see where we need to do more, and we'll be doing that over the next couple of hours, and I hope we can speak holistically more at the tomorrow morning's press briefing again on the latest scenario.
Mm-hmm. And you're clearly taking this very seriously. You've been having these press briefings now every day, really. Now, I think this is now the 3rd day.
Well, you know, one of the things I don't want anybody to fault us for is lack of information. And we will continue to provide the information because the information is critical for Jamaicans, especially for Jamaicans living in areas that are prone to flooding. We did a survey through the ADPEM a couple months ago, identifying communities that are vulnerable for flooding. And I think we have seen an increase of some 10 to 13% of other new communities, other new areas that have never been flooded before, that have joined that list. So we have to take all of this seriously to look at the impact and how we are going to respond, because mitigation now, for me, based on the projection and the size of what is to come, is you know, probably I don't want to say not relevant, but mitigation now is only, you know, can only scrub the surface. If you understand what I mean.
Yes, yes. Cliff, I was struck by how frank Evan Thompson was. In fact, he referenced Hurricane Gilbert. You would have been a young reporter at the time, reporting on that major system. Most Jamaicans associate that as the pinnacle of disaster that this little island has faced. He said it would be so much worse if what is now projected should materialize. How do you respond to that?
First of all, when I was driving, when I was listening, and when I heard Evan said after several technical glitches, yes, to your question, that is it the position of the local Met Service that the lady, Melissa, could make landfall, hit Jamaica directly on both sides of the eye as a major Category 4 or Category 5 hurricane, I literally got chills because it took me back 37 years to Hurricane Gilbert on September 12, 1988, when Jamaica was destroyed.
What are the memories that you have of that time, Cliff?
Well, let me tell you, Donna, it was a period of time when, for those Jamaicans alive and who had never experienced anything like that before, 80% of the country's houses, roofs were damaged. Just think of that. 80% of all homes, houses, shacks, hovels were affected seriously. 800,000 Jamaicans were displaced. Yes? 45 Jamaicans were killed. Electricity was out for months. Gilbert struck in September 1988. The island-wide electricity grid did not come up back before, I think, late December, early January 1989. Water supplies severely damaged. People fought over getting ice so that they could have a cool glass of water. Yeah? Food was short. We became bully beef consumers to the point where Jamaicans hated bully beef for a long while.
And I have to hold up my hand, Cliff. I don't eat corned beef, bully beef because of Gilbert. We had to eat so much of that particular concoction during that. I do not eat it. Maybe if we are in severe situation, but it was a horrible time.
Roads, if I could just, the road network was severely damaged. Jamaica, from the skies, was dark. There was no electricity on the island. Yeah? And Desmond McKenzie would have been around at that time. Yeah. And it was hell on earth for Jamaicans. So, and that was a Category 3. And the Category 3 system has maximum winds of 130 miles per hour. Now, a Category 4, the maximum wind speed under the Saffir-Simpson scale of measuring hurricanes, a Category 4 is between 130 miles per hour winds to 156 miles per hour. Above 156 miles per hour is Category 5. When we say this is a catastrophe facing Jamaica, you better believe it. A wind getting at your doors, your roofs, your windows at 130 miles per hour and higher is deadly. Jamaicans are going to die if it makes landfall. If it makes landfall and hits us come next week Tuesday.
Minister McKenzie, I think for the Jamaicans who did not live through that period, we always hear about it, obviously. But it was 37 years ago, and the infrastructure has obviously improved. We've put in place all kinds of disaster mitigation buffers. What's the sense inside the Holness administration this evening facing this projection? Are you confident that those buffers will hold?
Well, let us put it this way. I'm not going to say yes or no. What I'm prepared to say that the government has been doing and whatever more that we can do over the short period of time, we will do so. definitely our infrastructure has improved significantly, and our housing stock has also improved, because one of the things that Mr. Seaga, because I was a part of the team that went around the island to look at the damage, to do the assessment, and to also head a team with the relief supplies during Gilbert. One of the things that came out of Gilbert was the hurricane straps that afford Jamaicans to build more secure by holding on their roofs. And these are things that we've been talking about, because last year during Beryl, we reintroduced the hurricane straps program. We gave out about 30,000 down in the Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, Manchester belt, and we have been providing hurricane straps as a part of the regular routine program, and we will be intensifying that. We are taking steps to ensure that in certain areas, based on the experience of Gilbert and looking at Beryl, what we did last year was to introduce igloos as a part of our relief supply mechanism, where we provided thousands of igloos and ice trucks to provide ice for communities, especially in the St. Elizabeth belt, that was without electricity, etc. So we did that, and water was also introduced as a main feature of the exercise. We have been building on that, improving our capacity in terms of tarpaulins. And remember also that there are a number of entities, international friendly governments, that have already indicated their commitment to the government. And the
Minister? Yes?
No, we lost
him.
Cliff, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Let me... There's no doubt that the country's resilience, has improved. In fact, if there was a positive following Gilbert, is the fact that our disaster risk management system as a country was improved, and we started to pay serious attention to managing disaster. Yes? I think it's after Gilbert that the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management was set up, because we realized that we were extremely vulnerable. And also for the listeners, you will never have another storm named Gilbert because of how devastating it was. When it reached its maximum, it was the second most powerful hurricane on history, after I think Hurricane Camille, earlier. Gilbert was heart-wrenching. Families were destroyed. $2 billion worth of damage for agriculture. 90% of the public health facilities in Jamaica were severely affected or destroyed. So nowhere was safe. Hospitals were not safe. Houses were not safe. So I really hope that Melissa does not come here, and does not come here as a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. We can't deal with that. We are better prepared, but it is going to be catastrophic.
I think we have Minister
Mackenzie.
Yes, we have Minister Mackenzie.
Obviously, now this is the time for those people who are usually stubborn, who don't heed your warnings. This is the time for them to take it seriously. What are you saying to them this evening?
Well, what I'm prepared to say, that I will do what is necessary to instruct the Prime Minister so that we can invoke the clause in the Disaster Risk Act that speaks to compulsory evacuation.
Yes.
Absolutely. Where we have to take the steps if it becomes necessary for that. I understand that there's an article in today's Observer where people from Port Royal is saying that the reason why they do not want to go to the shelters is because somebody there was raped in 2017. Now, this is the first I'm hearing that. There is no such record. The Member of Parliament is not aware of that. The ADFEM is not aware of that. I want to remind Jamaicans, and I've been doing this since I was Mayor of Kingston, to say to them that our shelters are not 5-star hotels.
Yes.
So you can't expect to go to a shelter and find the same comfort that you will find at home. That is why it is called a shelter. And Jamaicans must now start to have a greater appreciation that their reluctance to move jeopardize the lives of our emergency officers. And I have said it before, Cliff, and our listeners, and I'm going to say it again. I am not prepared for us to issue instructions to any member of our response community when persons would have not heed the instructions. Twice the eye of an hurricane catch me in Port Royal that they had to send vehicles there, heavy-duty trucks, to take me out of Port Royal because I went there. Persons refused to move. And this is no time for us to talk about this is a God-blessed country. God help those that help themselves, and if we are not prepared to help ourselves, the government can only do so much at this time. But I am prepared to write the Prime Minister on the instructions of the Acting Director General to say we must invoke the question, the section of the Disaster Act which says that you can be forced compulsory evacuation. The security forces can come, and if you fail, it goes with a penalty. There's a price to pay. And I want to say to Jamaicans tonight that this is one time we should put aside our ego, our pride, and we should forget all that has gone before. Because if this system comes, all of us is going to suffer. And Cliff spoke about the challenges about food and light and water. I witnessed it. I went to Mansion Hill in Portland, and I was in the helicopter, and I could not believe that this was the Jamaica that I know.
Jamaica was a wasteland.
Yeah, and we have made significant strides. ADFEM came out of the experience of Gilbert. Okay? That was where ADFEM came from. We have improved our building code. We have one of the best building codes in the world. But that does not say that because we have, it means that we must not, observe the basic principles. Our infrastructure, our drains, it's not that our drains are not being clean like how people are making out to be. Our infrastructure over the years have improved, but we must also remember that the quality of rainfall that has been falling in Jamaica for the last 2 years is unprecedented. We have had rainfall in 2 months that was predicted for a year, and we got it in 2 months. And the largest route out of the corporate area is the Sandy Gully. Look what Jamaicans have done to the Sandy Gully. It is not just the people downtown who have encroached on the gully banks. When you go up into St. Andrew in some of those communities where people have built swimming pools across the bank of the Sandy Gully, extend their gas ribbon and all that sort of thing, people only see what is happening down below, but inside the heart of the Sandy Gully. Right? And for years we have been playing with our infrastructure. For years we have ignored some of the basic principles about this practicing disaster management at home. Can't blame the government.
Minister, I think one of the responses, media, government, community leaders, community-based organizations will have to do in the next 24 hours, because we literally have no more than 48 hours yes, is to get the message out. What we heard from the meteorological service this evening.
Indeed. And
we have to get that message out.
And we have been joined by Winsome Callum
of JPS.
Yeah, she's the Director of Corporate Communications at JPS, so she's joining us now to give us some updates. Good evening. Hi, Ms. Callum. Good evening, Winsome.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
We're doing very well. I'm Ricardo Brooks Donahoe. Cliff Hughes is online, as well as Minister Mackenzie.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Winsome. I don't know if you've heard the latest from the Met Service. Yes. Quite.
This is rather distressing for me personally, because we were working with the expectation that we'd have a tropical storm, which in and of itself is not good news for the network, but a category 4 or 5 with the projection of a direct hit is actually catastrophic, as Evan said. We are doing as much as we can to prepare, to brace for this. Thankfully, we've done some work to improve the structural integrity of the grid, but we don't know that it is going to be able to stand up to a Category 5. It's not something that I can visualize right now. What I'm relieved that we did was to take the proactive step to bring into the country the additional resource to help with the restoration. So just this afternoon, we welcomed just over 50 line workers from the U.S. and Canada, and they joined the team of line workers from St. Vincent who came in a couple of days ago. So this is good news that regardless of the level of devastation or whatever happens, we already have additional workers on the ground to help with the restoration.
And let's put that in context, because this is a kind of improvement that we're talking about before you came on, Winsome. Back in 1988, we were scrambling to source overseas linesmen to be flown into Jamaica to help with the restoration of the grid. Now they are here. That is a kind of improvement and example of the increased resilience of the country's infrastructure. That we hope will stand up. But you said something, we have never had a Category 5. I don't see how power lines are going to stand up to Category 5 winds of howling at 200 miles per hour.
You're correct. Even with the significant investment that we've made, the grid in its current state, I believe, was constructed to withstand up to Category 3. So a Category 5 is going to be a great challenge for us. A great challenge for us. We will respond. I mean, the commitment. We had a few media people over today, and we were talking about the improvements and the advancements that we've made in terms of the technology to identify where the outages are, what's happening, and to help with the decision making. So that is another area of improvement, but with far widespread devastation, yes, the technology can go so far, but what's going to be necessary is, having not only the hands on deck, but also the material to rebuild. Because when you have a system, there are two things that you can do. You repair or you rebuild. Repair does take a while. You have to do the initial damage assessment. You have to deploy crews, but you can repair within hours, within days, or within weeks. When it comes to rebuilding, that's a different story altogether. So if we do get a Category 5, what we can say to our customers now is that it could take months. While some sections of the island might be less impacted than others, and we may be able to restore within hours or days. If we get a direct hit from a Category 5, it will definitely take months.
And Winsome Callum, I hear you talking, and you're talking about the recovery after Melissa. During Melissa, what will happen if Melissa hits us? What happens as soon as she advances?
So right now we have started obviously doing our own preparation in terms of securing our critical infrastructure. We have power plants, and if we don't have power plants, you know that we can't get the power to our customers. So we are securing the power plants as best as possible. We actually purchase power from several independent power producers, and we're also working with them to secure the facilities as best as possible. Once we have secured our own infrastructure, which also includes the substations, we have a couple of substations that are susceptible to flooding.
Mm-hmm.
So we are taking mitigation measures to limit the impact of flooding and also to remove the water where possible. We've got some high velocity pumps, so we are making sure that as much as possible we are protecting the infrastructure. During the event itself, the tropical storm, if it remains a tropical storm,
and we earnestly hope that it does.
We are praying and hoping, yes. But if it remains a storm, tropical storm,
yes. If it remains a tropical storm, what we're expecting is that we'll have pockets of power outages, and these will be largely caused by landslides and flooding that might wash away poles, bring down trees on lines, or even wind that will break power lines. But we will not necessarily have a system-wide impact if we have a tropical storm.
Winsome,
however,
there is one thing I want to interject here, Winsome.
Yes, Minister.
There's still a vast area of Jamaica where the GPS power lines are running directly through trees across the country, especially in the corporate area. And that's something that I've been speaking with the GPS over a protracted period of time. And even to compound the matters worse, the little work that they have done, when they cut the trees, they either find some gully to throw the bushes or they leave it on the sidewalk. I don't know what the GPS can do over the next couple of days, but some of these trees, and those are one of the things that helps to short-circuit the system in some areas.
You are correct that vegetation, trees remain a big problem for us, and many of these trees are on private property where it's the responsibility of the owners of these property to remove their trees. With the thoroughfares,
Sorry, hold on, Minister. Let her respond, and then you can answer the next question.
But you're right. There is significant work to be done on the thoroughfares, the right-of-way that JPS has responsibility for. And I admit that we've done a lot better in the past few months because we've totally revamped our vegetation management program to be a lot more structured, a lot more focused, and there's been significant improvement because of the quality of the contractors that we have engaged. Significant improvement. But is it perfect? No, we're not. We're definitely not where we ought to be. What do we do now on the eve of a major event? We are doubling down as much as possible in the corporate area, in the parishes across the island. We're doubling down as much as possible. We have assessed and continue to assess the most critical pathways, and our vegetation management crews are deployed right across the island. With the issue of the disposal of the debris, the removal of the dumping of this along the sidewalk or in gullies is absolutely totally prohibited, condemned by JPS. It's not something we condone or expect to happen. So it was brought to our attention yesterday by the Minister of Energy, and we have already taken steps to identify where this is actually happening and to hold the contractors accountable, because we will have nothing in no way, shape, or form to do with anyone who is contributing to the dumping of anything in any gully. We vehemently condemn that behavior, Minister. It's not something that JPS condones or supports, so we're holding the contractors accountable.
All right, let me hear the minister now. Let me hear the minister now. Minister?
So, Winston, you made a point about private property. There are provisions under the law that the local authorities have that if you indicate 10 Ealing Road, 14 Ocean Boulevard, etc., there are trees which is encroaching on the JPS property and you can't gain access to. Steps can be taken for that to be done.
And we have taken steps to gain access to people's property to remove trees that threaten the lines. We have communities, entire communities, that have built up their homes on the JPS lines, and we have to sometimes be climbing over walls or begging access and protection from their dogs to gain access to our own lines. That is a problem, but we do gain access wherever because the law allows us to.
You have the
gain
free.
access.
You have the right, the free right away access. The easement belongs to the JPS.
It is our responsibility.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, and I'm not discounting that at all. It is our responsibility, and as much as possible, we work to gain access. There are challenges sometimes, though, Minister, where the property owner does not want you to come and cut the trees because it's part of their livelihood. Them set them dog fire. We have had those experiences. So that is one of the challenges we face, but we own up to the responsibility of removing trees that are encroaching on the lines, and as much as possible, we're trying to get to them. So definitely, it is our responsibility. Yeah. However, what I'm speaking of are those trees that have encroached on JPS lines that persons need to keep from going into the line. So it is less of a burden on the utility to come and go through the struggle of getting into your yard to cut the tree. So we encourage private property owners to remove the trees, or at least if you have to keep them, ensure that you prevent them from going into the lines. You have a regular program of trimming them.
Yeah. All right. So, Winston Callum, what I'm hearing from you is the JPS is prepared. You've taken the necessary steps for a tropical storm. But if what the projection is this afternoon, this evening, materializes, you're saying that it could take months. Did I hear that correctly?
In some
instances, for restoration.
Absolutely. It depends on the extent of the damage. What I can say is that we have been stockpiling material for repair and restoration and rebuilding. We have already deployed some of the overseas workers to the eastern parishes to be ready and on standby when the weather hits. And the team that came in tonight after orientation, we will be sending them out into other parishes tomorrow. So we will be staging not only the material for the repair of the power lines, but also the persons who will be working to give us a head start in the repair process. We obviously are monitoring the system very closely, but we are working now with some very critical partnerships with that we have been really strengthening over the past few months with the municipalities themselves, with the other utilities, telecoms companies, and most importantly with the NAA. And so we know that we will also have the support of the Jamaica Defense Force to assist with the initial just taking on the assessing the damage. So we have some very strong partnerships that will be activated after the weather system, whether it's a storm or a hurricane. But we're throwing everything behind this gentleman and lady, and we will do whatever is necessary to restore power to this country as quickly and as safely as possible.
Before you go, Winsome Callum, Minister, our listeners are trying to find out if JPS will cut the power to non-essential areas during the storm, and if so, at what speed or at what time during the storm. They are curious.
So if it is a tropical storm, typically we do not make a decision to cut the power because we don't have the kind of wind that will damage the infrastructure. So persons may lose electricity, but it will not be because JPS has taken the power out. That only happens in extreme circumstances when this whole system is likely to be damaged. So if we do get a category 4 or 5 hurricane and we recognize that a direct hit is going to cause extensive damage to the power system, a decision may be made. But that kind of decision to turn the power off is only made in extreme circumstances and based on the nature of the event. So it's a real-time decision. It's difficult to say to Jamaica that 2 hours before landfall or so on without knowing the details. So we have to be in the situation to make that kind of decision. So it's not something that we can predict because as much as possible we try to keep the lights on, although we recognize that there may be early outages caused by trees on lines or other issues like the wind pulling down your service wire, stuff like that. So persons may lose power in pockets even ahead of a direct hit.
Yeah.
All
right.
I wanted to say...
let me just release Winsome Callum, Minister. Thank you so much, Winsome. I appreciate your time.
And can you release me too?
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Confused.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Minister, you wanted to say something finally.
I wanted to say that since Gilbert, we have seen significant improvement in the management of the affairs of the country, especially since 2016 under this administration. The country will have the kind of resources that is going to require just in case we are called upon. There are several insurance, several bonds that we have put in place over the last 3 to 4 years. Right now we have, as the Financial Secretary said earlier today, we have funds at our ready that we can call upon immediately that we can use. And based on the varying degree of the systems, we have policies and bonds that can cover from a 1 up to a 2, excess rainfall, excess winds, etc. So the country can be rest assured that the government of Dr. Prime Minister Andrew Holness over the years, along with the former Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clark, and the administration have put in place the necessary support in terms of our own funding, and I am sure based on the goodwill that the government has built up over the last couple of years, that we will find friendly countries, as I indicated earlier on, that at least 3 countries have reached out to me. Right here now at the ADPEM, there is a team from SEDEMA that has come in today that is helping to improve the communication network of the ADPEM using Starlink and other such equipments that will boost the capacity of our communication system. There is the JICA system that was launched a couple of years ago with the Japanese government that has provided communication system right across the country. The 14 parishes, the municipalities, the Jamaica Fire Brigade have a system that can communicate. So the country is in a better position today as I speak. Our capacity to respond has grown stronger and stronger. So we are hoping that Lady Melissa, if she come, will not treat us badly. But this will be a test case for Jamaica and I am sure that we will stand the test of time based on the work that this administration has been doing to improve the capacity of our infrastructure. And that is why the Prime Minister, after Beryl, did the assessment on our disaster capabilities, looking at all angles of disaster response to see where we fall down, areas of improvements. And out of those findings and recommendations, we are seeing a number of them being put in play now as I speak. So let us pray and ask God to guide us and take us through this period. But I want to remind Jamaicans that God help those that help themselves.
Well said,
Thank
Minister.
you, Minister.
Local
Prepare
Government Minister,
and pray. Thank you, Minister.
Desmond McKenzie. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're going to go to the break, but before the break, the news of the evening, if you haven't heard it yet, the Met Service is projecting at this time, and I have to stress that, at this time, because these things can change.
And it's a projection.
Yes, a projection, but
Yes.
these things can change.
Yes.
That at this time, tropical storm Melissa, could make landfall in Jamaica on Tuesday as a powerful Category 4 or 5 hurricane. The Met Service is saying that should that happen, it would be, the word being used is catastrophic. And we've heard from the JPS that if that materializes in pockets of the country, their restoration efforts could take months.
It would take months.
It would take months.
Yes.
23 minutes after 7, we're taking your calls. The lines are back. 618, Bugs, me not remember them. Shame on me. 618-67, no man, them tell me say
30.
Okay.
618-6730.
So 937
618-6730
Ashim.
and 618-6
618-9371 to 4. Those are the numbers. 618. Go again, Bugs. Bugs, send me a correct.
618-6730.
We're going to
and
take
the
a
other
break.
lines,
But
we come
listeners,
back.
you know the numbers well. I know you know them well. They're back. You can call them.
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is
7:24 p.m.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall.
Our total tools.
Weed whacker figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Sly Road, Kingston. And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Already have a T-Tag for your vehicle? Just top it up and go through. Now you can see funds in your T-Tag account almost immediately after topping up. So, if you're already on your journey, you can safely pull off the road and top up using the My T-Tag app or WhatsApp. Or ask your passenger to do it for you. And within 5 to 10 minutes, you can enjoy the lower toll rates and other benefits of the T-Tag lane. Even if you forget to top up before you started your trip. Top up your T-Tag and continue to go through quicker and cheaper on Transjam highways.
Exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat, make me
Hi there.
Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Lone vibes, lone laughs, and lone entertainment. Come on the road with we. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. We forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome, the Shell Boss, I'm gonna make it bust to pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tune. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and don't miss a thing.
28 minutes after 7, they say young bud no storm. I am a young bud.
I was, yes. You're hearing the stories, Ricardo.
And Prof is here regaling me with the stories.
Gilbert.
The worst experience I've had was Ivan. That was 2004.
Yes.
Obviously, it didn't make landfall.
Yes.
It was pretty frightening.
It was frightening. People lost their homes, like
right.
by Harbour View,
right. Caribbean Terrace.
Yes. Caribbean Terrace, yes. But
so this a young body and no storm.
Gilbert was something we tried to forget, but.
And I want to tell you something. This a young body and no one no storm.
So we are hoping that since Melissa is indecisive and keeps shifting, that she will shift a lot between now and Tuesday. But you know what it means, Ricardo?
I hope she sees some guy out there in the open waters and she just drift.
Melissa is having a lot of fun in the waters in the area.
She should enjoy it out there.
She should dissipate soon. I would hope that. Yeah. But one of the things that happens that Jamaica, our listeners, remember, you now have maybe an extra day or a day and a half to prayer.
Because we were originally thinking tomorrow would have been when we would have seen the bulk of it. But because of the slow moving nature of it, all the way into Tuesday.
Yes.
So you have time to make your preparation.
Yes.
Take it seriously. You heard from all the officials saying it. Take it seriously.
And the other thing I'd like to remind this, as I come from Linstead, when we hear hurricane coming, the whole of the man them gone out with cutlass and gone chop down tree and move. So we're not waiting on the government because we want to also try and begin to help ourselves while the government is coming.
Which is what the minister said.
Yes. Yeah. I think Alric is on the line.
Alric.
Prof, good evening, Ricardo.
Good evening.
Hey, how you do?
Yes.
But I'm kind of worried that category 4 or 5, we can't take it. As Cliff said, it gives you a frightening thought. I've been around a long time, Ricardo. Longer than you and Prof. So, man, and I'm from St. Mary on the coastline, so you know what that means. I'm not up there, Bellsea area. Bad man.
You get a lot of hits there. Everything comes, you get a lot of it.
Yes, and I have relatives there. So I'm worried for the whole island because if it lands as a category 4 and Jamaica, we're going to be in for a rough, long ride. You heard the GPS lady telling you.
And my challenge, Alric, as I was saying to Prof, is how slow it's moving.
2 miles per hour. Both to 3 miles
so
per
that
hour.
would mean, first of all, it would be a massive system at category 4, and then it would just sit there
and
just
crawl,
dumping rain,
and
wind. That, yeah.
Yes, I can understand, guys, but suppose I say something to you, Prof and Ricardo. So there are a couple of Jamaicans who is saying that it's not coming and they're not preparing.
It happens every time.
Yeah,
it happens
usually
every
case,
time.
Yeah.
It happens every time. It happens every time. And one of the challenges, Alric, is that we have people who will say these things, and then when the storm is upon us, whatever it's a very top tropical storm, a hurricane, they expect people to come and rescue them and help them in the middle of it.
Government. From just the people, they said the government must come take them, and the government must come. What category was buried?
5. 4. But it was hurt in the southern area. Yeah, more south. It was very far south.
So I don't know. I am extremely worried. And as you guys say, especially Prof, let's hope and pray that it don't reach that and make a landfall here, because this country would be in peril. I heard Mr. Mackenzie about the money with the bonds and insurance, but it's going to be a long, hard ride even with that money. GPS alone will be a major problem for most of us.
Yeah. All
right.
Keep safe.
Yes. Keep our fingers crossed and hope. And people, take this thing serious, man, and can't fail before you start.
All right.
Keep safe. All right.
876-618-6730,
618-6730. That's it. And all the other. We have Carl online. The listeners know the numbers. Carl.
876-630-6347124. Books you can't write, Asanya.
They're reading the thing off a paper.
630-9. Oh, she writes 63. So I'm going to tell you. 630-937124. All right. Books went to Casey. Carl.
Yeah, even Ricardo,
Evening, Carl. Evening.
At least if we have 2 or 3 months out of like Ricardo, Said and Siobhan will make the population come up because they won't have anything to play with computer and those things.
And why would you assume that because I don't have a computer to play with, I would play with something else?
All right, Ricardo.
Good.
Ready with the pal.
Gentlemen.
Good evening, Carl.
Carl, talk to us.
Hold on, Ricardo. You can't let me so Me here, Mr. Mackenzie, praise our excellent finance minister. When I think we're blessed with, make a proper choice September 3rd. We make a properly choice September 3rd. Because the people who put in those policy, if anything should happen, is them supposed to be around to spend it. Look at it careful. Prof?
Yes.
If you no plan no can, you're not supposed to repeat.
What do you mean
Carl,
by that?
Carl.
Ricky, we
don't have to do politics now, man.
Right now, I
we should
don't think we should be
coming together
standing
as
for politics.
Jamaicans.
This is a
Ricardo,
difficult time ahead of us.
Ricardo, we all like to come together. But just listen to Mr. Ian Hayes in Westmoreland and see if that is coming together.
Then do better now. You do better. You urge your fellow Jamaicans to take this seriously.
I can't ask you a different question.
Because your government, your government, you should be proud of them so far.
Very proud.
They're being very proactive. So man, continue that message. Don't try to do the politics
Ricardo,
tonight.
Ricardo, I'm Prof.
Yes.
Look at one of your own colleagues that is quarreling on an award that gave to Christopher Tufton because he did such a good job in the epidemic that just passed few years ago. It's like she's carrying a belly for that man. And the man did such an excellent job. No time after that, our country come right back up. What is wrong with that lady? And is the same lady that did ask the man such foolful question if him a cheat on his wife, which that never have nothing to do with her. She was out of order.
You ready for the storm?
Yes, man.
Your gas tank full?
Yeah, right now.
You have 3 bread?
No, 2. I don't do like some people. That is all food.
How many crackers? You have crackers?
How much crackers
you have crackers?
Crackers and sardines.
Okay. You have sardine. Tin 4. You have tin. You have the sardine.
All right.
You have cash. You take some cash so you don't have to go fight to get the card working or so.
And please remember that my minister is the Minister of Labour, Colonel Charles Jonah. and I sort out things if anything happen to the people them who unfortunate. We will have to be the soldier out there in the water. Because we have a good minister in Southeast Clarendon. I'm not saying Roddy wasn't good, no, so let me correct myself.
You member of parliament. You're member of parliament.
Yeah, the member of parliament. Farmer.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much, Carl. We're going to bring in a couple other persons.
876-618-6730.
Papa Nana.
876-630-9371 to 4. Papa Nana.
Papa Nana, good evening.
Once there is life, there is hope.
Yes, but
Papa Nana, you know what you do for me?
No.
Sing for me one of your favorite hymn them. One of them nice, hymn there for cheer me up. Me like a cheer, Papa Nana.
You know, you deserve it, but you can't find me the wrong time and my belly too full,
Sure. Yeah, eat that hurricane food already.
I don't really eat it, but me I tell you the honest truth, brother. If me dead, me no really want it hungry.
Papa Nana. Let me tell you, Ricardo, Papa Nana and listeners, the hurricane snacks and the hurricane food are for when the hurricane or the storm arrives. You're not so people are told I've been eating all the food on Tuesday.
So what you eat tonight?
You're not going to talk, God. You don't believe me, but let me tell you the honest truth. I don't really eat beef and mutton, but I tell you, man, I want Lasco mackerel, I tell you, man, when you call it and so fried dumplings, big man, I tell you, I want big cup of lemonade, man. You have to take off your shirt to your waist.
So, is that tin Lasco mackerel, some cornmeal flour, dumpling?
No. Me have yeast, we put it in a thing because some of my teeth gone, so me have to make me dumpling them soft. Yes, man. Nice, man.
Nice, yeah.
Yes, man.
And you season up the mackerel good.
Oh, God. Ricardo, so your mother teach you good.
Sweet potato, onion, you must eat sweet pepper, onion and so.
No, but Ricardo, so you're going well. Yes, man. So anyway, me want to drop the politics a little now. Me want to ask something.
Yeah.
What I thought you and Professor would have asked Miss Callum. Don't the JPS have an insurance?
Yes.
I think they do. They have some bond or something. Yes, they do.
So why should we, if there is a disaster, we as the public pay the penalty?
When you say pay the penalty, you mean to pay the increased bills?
In the bills?
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't ask her,
We didn't.
There was so much.
But I think the explanation, I am not recalling it, no, Papa Nana, but the explanation did come in burial. Because remember, it was a point of contention. And I think it's how the license, I don't want to mislead you, but I think it's how the license is written. That's my recollection of what was explained. Yes.
Jesus.
Because they have to pass on the increased cost.
Yeah, it's how the license is written. It's my recollection.
God, I just hoping and praying that Mr. Paul will do a better job than Mr. Palwell. And the other thing, I want to give somebody else a chance. But listen, there is a hockey tree at Scotts Pass in School Road. And anytime the breeze sway, the breeze, it touched the light. And I'm telling you, and for years, we have been calling JPS. One of them come here and tell me that we have to go pay how much a foot to cut it. And we pay to cut the part that hang over our place, but the line.
Yeah.
So is it in the public property or private property? It's in the road. Where's the tree? In somebody's land? Or
At the roadside.
Okay.
And the public service do nothing. Sometimes some of the leaf burn off and the light drop a ground on the wire.
That's where Scotts Pass?
Yes.
That's Clarendon?
School Road, Scotts Pass.
That's Clarendon?
That's Clarendon.
Yes.
All right, Papa Nana. Hope they hear you. Who's next? Bobby, good evening.
Good evening, Bobby.
Good evening, Prof. Good evening, my good friend.
How are you?
Well, I'm okay. Look here, Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
I had promised to tell you that you must cut off of the corned beef. It is not healthy.
I don't really eat corned beef that much,
Right. So just get some cabbage and carrot and so on and dice it up and cook a nice dish. Put it down to cool. Put it in your fridge and you can have it with some tin mackerel or so on. throughout this time, right? Because that thing is not, as a vegetarian, I am telling you, it is not healthy. Right?
Hold on for me,
Hold
Bobby.
on.
I understand Winsome Callum from the JPS is back with us. Hi, Winsome.
Good evening, Winsome, again.
Hey, good evening again. Good evening again.
Yes.
I heard the caller just now raising a question about insurance
Yes,
and
yes,
increasing
yes,
bills.
yes.
So there's a lot of misunderstanding there. And I'd
Yes,
like
please
to
clarify. Yes, please. I'd appreciate that, Winsome.
Okay, on one hand, let's talk about insurance. There is no utility in the hurricane belt, what is called the hurricane belt, that can get insurance for the distribution system, which is the lines above ground and the poles.
Yes.
So what the utilities have done, the industry best practice is to have what is called an emergency disaster fund. And we have that emergency disaster fund.
Right.
And it is funded right now up to about $50 million US. And this disaster fund has been building over time. So whenever there is a disaster, this is the oversight for the management of this disaster fund happens is actually the responsibility of the regulator. So JPS can't just go in there and take out money and use. So whenever there is a system, a disaster, we actually have to make an application to the regulator to say, this is what this disaster cost us, and we get approval to draw down on it. Sometimes that approval doesn't come immediately, but that is where the funding comes from to fix the system. And that's separate and apart from the issue of higher bills. Now let's talk about higher bills. The bill is comprised of two main parts. Part one, that is the energy charge. This is the cost of the whole process of getting electricity to you, which includes the transmission, the whole process. And this is a charge that is set by the OUR, and it does not change unless the OUR makes a decision, a determination on a new energy charge. But the bulk of your bill is made up of the fuel charge. If you look on your bill, you see a pie chart, and you see the slice is broken out. You have a slice here for government tax, a slice there for JPS, and then a big slice for fuel. Now, that is where the problem is when it comes to your bill going up after a hurricane, the fuel charge. Why does the fuel charge tend to go up after a hurricane? One, it goes up because we sometimes have to change the type of fuel used. For example, what is happening right now, yesterday, the gas supply facility, which is operated by an independent owner and operator, they sell gas to us. But this gas facility is in the water offshore. And whenever there is a hurricane, the standard procedure is for them to move the ship away from the area where a storm or a hurricane is likely to land. So yesterday around midday, the gas supply facility moved away from the island. What does that mean? It means that 2/3 of the power that the Jamaicans use, which is generated by LNG, this is liquefied natural gas, which is a cheaper form of fuel, is no longer able to have access to the liquefied natural gas because they have to move the facility away so that they can live to fight again another day. Right. Because if they stay in the storm waters, there might be serious damage. So they're not here. What happens when we have no access to LNG? We have to switch to a more expensive fuel. The backup fuel is ADO, that's the automotive diesel oil, which is reliable, but it is more expensive than LNG. And the longer the LNG ship is away, is the more we have to rely on diesel. We have one facility in Montego Bay that will have backup LNG to last for maybe a week. But we have 2 LNG power plants over on the south side of the island. One is operated by Accelerate Energy, that's an independent power producer. We have another one which is also an independent power producer that is, the name is South Jamaica Power Company. So those two between them provide almost 300 megawatts of electricity to the grid, but they do not have backup supply. And one of them is totally unavailable because, when I say it does not have backup supply, I mean backup LNG supply.
Yes.
One facility can't operate at all because it can't even switch to ADO. So it is totally off the grid right now. But the other one, the SJPC, that is now operating on oil, not natural gas. So chances are we will see an upward push in the fuel charge on the bill. The third thing to bear in mind is the renewables.
Yes.
When you have a hurricane, you have a heavy cloud cover, as we have had for the past couple of days. So the renewables, which are cheaper than the energy that comes from fossil fuel or LNG, is the cheapest source, but the renewables are not available when we have hurricane conditions. You cannot get solar power when there is no sun.
Yes.
And you cannot get wind during hurricane conditions because you have to shut down the wind turbines. So a couple of things. You do not have renewables. You do not have enough, you do not have the majority of your plants operating on LNG. You're operating on a higher cost fuel. And so the fuel portion of your bill will be higher. Now, it is not a guarantee that your entire bill will go up because a lot of people did not see an increase in their bills after the hurricane season last year because there are other moving parts on your bill. For example, if you don't use the electricity, then you won't be charged for it. So some people's usage went down because they didn't have power for some days. And so they saw a flat bill. Some people's usage went up, and so they saw an increase when you see the higher usage along with the higher fuel charge. So those are the dynamics that go into a change in your bill. So it's not guaranteed that you will see a higher bill, but it is JPS's responsibility to let you know that there are factors outside of our control that could cause your bill to go up. We don't want that to happen, and so we are in discussion with the regulator and the other parties to say, how can we manage this so that our customers do not have this level of volatility? But the regulatory environment is such that JPS cannot operate on its own in this case. It's not like JPS sitting in a corner and decide we're going to change some numbers here or there. That cannot happen. We're heavily regulated, and our fuel charge, everything is audited. So it's not an arbitrary thing. But all I'm saying is that let us look back. And we are not saying that the bill must go up, but you need to be aware of the dynamics of the electricity bill.
We appreciate that clarification, Winsome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And keep safe. Thank you.
Winsome Callum there, the corporate communications, the director of corporate communications at JPS. We lost Bobby, right?
Oh, we have Bobby.
Bobby, full of credit. Bobby,
thank you for staying in the chat.
Apologies, Bobby.
Yes, sorry.
Well, the fact is, I have to have enough credit on my phone because I remember that I assist my counselor in the Winsome City Division.
Yes.
So I have to speak out for my people. But one of the things I had wanted to ask Winsome Callum, is that, trust me, JPS is eating out the lifeblood of the Jamaican people, and I'm not speaking only of the people here in the Winsome City Division, but the entire Jamaica. Sometimes their bill is so enormous, and it is straining the lifeblood out of the people. And I'm so happy that this new administration and our minister, they are planning to sign a new license, right? A new agreement with JPS because the previous license is killing all of us, right? So I only hope Miss Callum hear this, and trust me, after this, I hope JPS will take a stand and have mercy on the Jamaican people. Yes, and what I really want to call to talk about. I just wish all Jamaicans safety tomorrow. I am praying to Almighty God that this thing, if it make landfall in Jamaica, it don't come as catastrophic as we are hearing. It will only have a slight impact on us because, trust me, Jamaica cannot take not even a category 2 hurricane right now. And I'm asking all the councillors, assistants, like myself, please, when the hurricane struck, you and your councillor, please go and service the shelters, ensure that your people have food to eat and everything is okay. Because look here, we all go to the people September 3rd now. So we have to let the people feel
all right, Bobby,
our presence.
All right,
okay,
Bobby.
then? And thank you and God bless you.
All right, Bobby, thank you and keep safe.
All
yes.
right, so I see somebody saying that the explanation Winsome gave was a bit convoluted. It's simply, all she's saying is that in regular time, and this is, I'm just paraphrasing, in regular time, they use a fuel of a particular cost.
Cheaper cost.
In an emergency, they don't have access to that, so they have to use fuel at a higher cost.
That's one of the factors.
Right, and so you may see your fuel charge go up on the bill. That's what she said.
Yes.
Yeah?
Michael? Hi, Michael. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Queen, and good King and Queen. Good evening.
Good evening, Michael. How the Blue Mountain?
Yeah, so you're up in the
up there. Yeah. How you feeling up there?
Well, so everything just green and pretty.
Oy. And Lord, we hope it stays that way.
And the bird, them, because I saw
are you
birds.
seeing birds? Are you seeing a lot of birds?
Yeah, man, the birds are still out, and the sky is still not yet heavy.
Up here at the city suburb, ball plate, you can hear the ground dove, all kind of birds up here, man.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yes. Once the birds are still here, the Melissa is a bit away.
We need to see the birds.
Yes.
You have to travel up here to the Blue Mountain here, man. Up here come like heaven,
So you're preparing for the hurricane, tropical storm, rain, whatever we are going to get? You're preparing?
Well, look here.
Mm-hmm.
Them say young bud no know storm. Me around here from 1963 in the same hurricane season, October, and when he come near Flora,
Mm-hmm.
After Flora come, you want to come free up the forest up here where them call Hurricane Hall in 1980.
Yes.
Then it never free up the place so good that small farmers could have get land. Here come the daddy Gilbert come 1988, but like she not more like that. Here still, but the big man at work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So, well, I want everybody to just keep themselves at a safe place over the storm season. Because in a Gilbert time hall and Flora time 63, we never have the proper announcement here. Technology to announce the storm,
It's true. Very true.
I know. Would I like every Jamaican to try to put themselves at a safe place. Cause you see, after Gilbert come up in the Blue Mountain area, the Mavis Bank here,
yes,
people stop by zinc,
Oh, yes. A lot of zinc arrived.
You'll find a zinc house up in the Mavis Bank here again after Gilbert.
People stop using the zinc and get the concrete, they get the slab roof.
Yeah. You usually say, up here now, wouldn't like the earthquake shake like 1970 earthquake where go and carve the house up here almost a slab top,
Mm-hmm.
And the next quick thing I want to say, to go over the next part of St. Andrew, the man where you call Azalite, Davis Hill, Rest House, the Ice Point in Jamaica, Pen line, Castle, Adlis Gap. So one into the leave, money to build the bridge where to go, Pen line, Castle, Adlis Gap,
Mm-hmm.
And a tear go up a garden town with Dr. Andrew when it's come up, they come rectify it and thing, But materially begin drop there and to be nothing couldn't pass, you know, and from them time I don't hear nothing about that bridge, you know. So would I like that I want to get it investigated to that. I would like to know what happened to the money when Mr. Warmington leave.
All right, Michael.
And the next one, Robert Seal was to go over Sin Corner gone up to this morning for the next station. I talked to the Minister of Agriculture about it, you know. The two places where me I tell you about, you know. Millions of agricultural things going to spoil over there, you know. The one when me I tell you about the last one, the youth say, you can't cross it. If you cross it, you will watch down into Yellow Planet, he's a man who listens to reggae music.
Yes, remember, Cliff Twang Brown. Yes, that
That's
is
not nearby the sender, man.
So, Michael, you prepared for the storm?
You know, you I tell you something, they're around here from 1963, man. Like, the book I won Gilbert cover, we were texting the oldest man in the year, I know. He I tell the storm from in the 20s come to 1938, 51 and thing, but he say Gilbert is the roughest one. No more of it here, man, they're not young bud, man.
All right, we can squeeze another caller because no more.
Yeah, man,
we can't squeeze another caller, but we just want to encourage you to stay safe. And since you have the world experience, share it with other people so they know what to do because safety.
Including the boat, the king and queen, on the stay safe. We're not good in a year, a long while, because where's the storm here come, you know, so we'll get long time to get electricity, you know that.
Well, we're hoping not.
We keep our fingers crossed and everything, but respect.
Yeah, man, we're have a good storm day, good storm season, man. Wish you all the best, you and your family.
All right,
Same
you too, Michael.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, Michael. Thank you and keep safe.
I asked
the
Books
callers
to play
are
a
saying
song.
that they want us to stay until 9 o'clock, but we're gonna have to wrap up.
We're gonna wrap. You're gonna have us for extended coverage, obviously soon, because the system is approaching, and you know how Nationwide covers hurricanes, storms. So you will have the extended coverage, but that extended coverage is not tonight.
Wild Gilbert, 51 Star Me Never Born.
It's not Wild Gilbert.
We have one called 51 Star Me Never Born. There's that one called that, you know.
It's actually one of my favorite gospel songs that I'm gonna play, but that's a good one.
You're gonna pray
yes,
about.
let's try to see if we can keep Melissa at bay. Books, you find a song for me? Check your WhatsApp. Yes, I did.
Apparently, we're getting a song that is going to lead us off in a prayerful mode.
Try to uplift us. Because, people are messaging me, Prof.
I'm getting messaging. People are, because that talk, speech, comment, conversation, confirmation from Evan Thompson.
Really shook people.
All of us are shook. So people are worried. YouTubers
it.
are worried. Everybody is worried. And everybody's now praying, but preparing. And I'm saying prepare even while you pray.
Yeah.
Make
because
sure.
Somebody, you put a question to Evan Thompson. You said it means it would batter us. And he said yes.
Yes, because
somebody just sent that to me.
It's a battering.
She said, it gave her goosebumps.
Yes.
Yes. Well, here's a song. Thank you to our producer, Sonia Stewart. The man behind the controls, Andrew Glenn Anderson. Appreciate him as always. My colleagues in the newsroom, the very best in the business. And all our guests, contributors, sponsors. You are valued listeners.
And our
Stay
YouTubers.
safe. Yeah, and of course, we got the YouTubers all the time. Stay safe, prepare, yeah? I'm leaving you with this song. I like it. And it lifts my spirit sometimes. So, yeah, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Professor Donna Hope. Stay safe, prepare, take care.
The hour is dark, and it's hard to see what you are doing here in the ruins and where this will lead. Oh, but I know that down through the years, I look on this moment and see your hand on it and know you were here. And I'll testify of the battles you've won. The waters you parted, the ways that I've walked, singing.
Exciting news! The Design Studio nationwide